Let's turn our attention to access information laws. Journalists ask a lot of questions. That's their job. Speaking truth to power is in our DNA. And when we need access to information from the powers that be, we file requests. It can be used to share information with the public. When the information comes back to journalists and it's fully redacted, so you ask for information and then the government's like, here's your information. And you get a stack of documents, but everything's blacked out. Makes it hard for journalists to do their job. Our next guest is here to tell us about some changes they would like to see so that journalists can keep people better informed. Michaël Nguyen is on the line, president of the Federation of Quebec Journalists. Michaël, welcome back to the show.
Hello, Elias. Thank you for having me here today.
So I know there's been a recent story about some COVID policy by the Quebec government, and they released a couple of pages to journalists, part of an access to information request, and it was blacked out. That got a lot of guffaws and laughs from journalists that they see this all the time. But just how bad is it, Michaël, when it comes to access to information?
The problem is it's very irregular. Sometimes when we do an access to information request, we get the document in a short time, in maybe a week, 2 weeks, but we never know what's going to happen. As what happened last week, we could see we asked, Radio-Canada asked an ethical report about COVID, and it was 100% redacted. Even the date, even the name, even the title of the person who wrote it was redacted. It makes absolutely no sense. So there was a lot of pressure to the government. Are you trying to hide stuff? Are you trying to avoid being ashamed because you took a bad decision? So after pushing to the Santé Publique, then we got the document, and without anything that was blacked out. So it shows that there is a problem with the law, and the way it's made, it gives way too much latitude to people to redact anything they want, basically. And we need something that is...
Well, that gets to it, right? The problem with the law is, so it's basically in this law, there's no mechanism on how these decisions should be made. I guess it ends up being one individual that decides, okay, we black everything out. Is that how it works?
Exactly. This is how it works. Is the worst, and the worst is that those persons, they don't have any information on how to do it. Sometimes it's one lawyer who works for the organization, and they say from now on you're the one responsible for the Access of Information Act. So that person doesn't know how it works, and of course you want to be sure not to make any mistake. So when you don't want to make any mistake, you redact everything. And this is the problem, because the law is 40 years old this year, and at first it was made to promote transparency, and now in decades it shows that everybody hides behind this law to not divulge any information, and that is a problem. And unfortunately, the governments, would it be the CAQ or would it be the PQ before the Liberal Party, they always say, oh yes, we want to reform this act, but they never do it. So for the election this year, we asked that every political party make promises and explain what they want to do with it, because it's not for reporters, it's for the public in general. Because when there are problems, we are here, as you said before, we ask questions. And why do we do it? We do it to inform the public.
We're with Michaël Nguyen, president of the Federation of Quebec Journalists. So Michaël, give me some common sense revisions that you'd like to see to the law.
So, for example, that they have strict rules on why is it redacted? What is the reason? They have to justify what they're doing, because right now we can always go to court and ask a judge to contest the decision, but it takes time. It's complicated. It's costly. So it rebukes a lot of reporters, because is it worth the time? And when we're advancing, we don't even know what we're going to get. So that's a problem. There's less journalists because there's less money in the media right now. So we have to work harder, and we need some help to help inform the population.
And Michaël, I've heard, this may be an interesting side to this. I've heard that when it comes down to it, in Quebec, we have it better off than going for an access to information request with the federal government. Can we touch on that a bit? Like, what's the situation when you got to deal with the federal government when it comes to access to information?
Well, I'd say the federal is a little bit better,
Okay.
and at least there's that, but there's still issues. I have colleagues who've made access of information requests. They've been waiting for 2 years to get their information, and every month they send a letter saying, oh, we're still working on that, but it's still not ready, so wait until next month, we'll give you an update, and they never get anything. That is a real issue.
And there's another issue entirely, right? So it's one thing if when you get the information, it's all there. There's not any stuff that's redacted or blacked out. It's another thing if you get it, but it takes 2 years to get it. Well, the story's come and gone sometimes after 2 years.
Exactly, and sometimes we ask ourselves, are they doing it on purpose so the heat goes down? So a scandal, for example, will not be divulged because it's been so long, it's not newsworthy anymore. And that could be another way for them to escape the essence of the law, and that is an issue that needs to be addressed.
When it comes to the Quebec laws, is there anything in there about timing and how quick the information has to come?
Well, it's supposed to be quick. It's supposed to take at most a few weeks, but regularly, if not always, all the time, they have they can ask for a delay if they can justify it, except the justification is it takes time. So there's no real justification behind it. They just go above the delays described in the law, and that is an issue. So there's a lot of things to do, and now is the time to do it.
Michaël Nguyen is president of the Federation of Quebec Journalists. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Elias.
And I'll tell you one thing, Michaël, when this goes online, we will not redact any of it. We will put the whole thing up.
Hopefully. Thank you very much.